You should hope that you don't make any mistakes as big as these.
Let's talk about that. Good mythical morning.
It has been said that those who cannot learn from history are doomed to repeat it.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. This is why, despite my better judgment, I keep going back to the Sizzler.
Oh my goodness, the Sizzler.
Yeah, but threw a little Sizzler in there, little Sizzler joke.
The Beta Club Awards was at the back room of the Sizzler. Or was it a Golden Corral?
No, that was the Western Sizzler, which is
Western Sizzlin'.
Western Sizzler?
It had an N on the
Yeah, it was different. It was a totally different thing.
So we have our corralled the cows of mistake.
Golden corralled.
I really tried to make it work. The biggest mistakes in history. Am I going first? Can I give you this one?
Yeah.
Let me
make
take
a
you to the
mistake.
year 1788 in what is modern day Romania.
Oh, nice.
100,000 strong Austrian army. Okay. Was setting up camp to attack the nearby Ottoman Empire. Actually, they were preparing for an attack by the Turks, the Ottoman Empire.
Okay.
And they sent a group of scouts over the Timis River.
Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts?
Into the invading.
Hold on, I gotta picture this right. Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts? They had cookies or they had tying knots? I gotta get this right in my mind.
They were soldiers, Rhett.
Oh, neither.
But
This is pre
They didn't
Boy
have
Scouts and Girl Scouts.
Right, but this is where they came from.
Okay.
The Austrians.
I'm gonna picture Girl Scouts because of the cookies though.
So they send some scouts, sans cookies, across the river, and they're over there, and they don't find any Turks, but what they do find are
thin mints.
Nope, some roaming gypsies selling their wares. And this is where it gets interesting because the wares specifically were schnapps. The gypsies were selling schnapps.
Liquor?
Liquor.
Like peach schnapps?
I don't know if it was peach. I don't know if it's fig schnapps. I don't know what they would have
Get in
had.
trouble with that stuff.
But and they did. They started buying barrels of that stuff, and they got to drinking, and then they just hung out over there. So then
Straight peach schnapps? Didn't mix it?
I don't know, Rhett.
Stick a thin mint in there.
And so after a while, the rest of the
What's
Austrian
another kind of
army
Girl Scout cookie? Just
comes.
remind me.
The peanut butter ones are my favorite.
What do you call that one?
Peanut. I don't know. They know. They're saying it in the comments. Read the comments, and you'll know.
Okay.
Do you guys know? Nobody knows right now. Tagalongs.
Tagalongs.
Tagalogs?
Tagalogs.
No, that's a language. Anyway, they never show up, so then the army goes after them, they go over there and they're like seeing them drinking up the schnapps, and they're like, give us some of those schnapps, and you know what they do? They say no, and the scouts build a barricade around the schnapps, and they start fighting over the schnapps, like yelling and stuff, but then someone has a bright idea. Infighting, but they're just like shenanigans. But then someone fires off a weapon, and then someone else yells, Tursi, Tursi, which means Turks, Turks, the enemies. And then they start shooting at each other, and they kill 10,000 of their own peeps.
Over some schnapps.
2 days later, the Ottomans actually do show up and just, the 10,000, just walked right through them and took care of business.
Got a little extra schnapps.
That's a big mistake over a little bit of, listen, the rule is share the schnapps, all right?
Share that schnapps, y'all.
Sharing is truly caring, especially when it's not killing 10,000 of your own people.
How about this? In April of 1846, 87 travelers set out from Illinois. I put the S on, yes I did. Illinois. Set out to California in about 20 wagons, headed by two brothers, Jacob and George Donner. You might recognize that name. They began,
the Donner Party?
Yes, they began their journey on the California Trail, a well-known wagon route that took about 6 months. But they were like, you know what? We should take a shortcut. How about that? Let's take a shortcut called Hastings Cutoff, possibly an unintended foreshadowing of what was about to happen if you know the Donner Party story. Anyway.
Not really.
You're about to. A lot of rugged terrain. They end up losing a bunch of wagons. They end up losing a bunch of cattle. They end up having some infighting.
They didn't have Google Maps?
No schnapps either. They didn't have schnapps, but they had infighting. No cookies that I'm aware of. They ended up getting stuck in the Sierra Nevada mountains, and they were trapped by an early, heavy snowfall.
Got it.
So they're stuck up there. They send some people away to try to get help. They get stuck through the winter for 4 months, okay? They were not prepared for this. They didn't have the provisions for this. And the way they ended up surviving, actually 48 of them ended up surviving out of the 87, was by eating each other. Well, they waited until you died, and then they ate you.
So was the mistake eating their own party, or was it making the wrong turn?
You know what? That is a philosophical question, Link. You be the judge of that. But I will say that they did have one prescription, and that was you cannot eat your own relative. You had to eat an acquaintance, because you knew this person, you know?
And they had to write a prescription like, I prescribe for you to eat Donnie.
I don't think there was a doctor involved. But you know, I always say—
Didn't eat your own relative, that's cool.
Better eat a friend than a brother.
I've never heard you say that.
And this brings us to the question of, if we were stranded and I died, would you eat me?
Yes.
Because I'm not related. Okay, good. What part?
That's easy. Did you think that was gonna be difficult?
What would you start with?
What part? Now that's difficult. I don't know what part, but I do know that I would face you the other direction so you wouldn't be looking at me.
Oh.
Like I'm not gonna eat your face.
You could just cut my head off.
But and
then it depersonalizes me, and then you can play soccer with my head, I don't care.
Here's a philosophical question.
Yeah.
Could you lop off a part of your own body, like your leg, and then eat that in order to survive?
I lost heart before I actually made any contact.
Gosh, that's gross. I shouldn't have asked.
Don't take shortcuts, you might end up eating people.
Is that the lesson?
Yeah.
Here's a really fascinating one. July 16th, 1969 was one of the pinnacles of humankind, crowning achievement.
Right.
All right, well, do you know what it is?
The moon landing, man.
Yes, you do, you know. All right, now the mistake didn't happen.
If you believe in that kind of thing.
Until like closer to the 2000s. So the mistake was not landing on the moon. That was really awesome. I mean, people around the whole globe gathered around their television sets for a live broadcast, which was a feat in and of itself. Right. But the interesting thing was the famous footage that we now know and rewatch and that they were watching live was not actually footage. It was footage of footage. They had a television camera pointed at a giant wall monitor.
Moonception. At
Mission Control in Houston. So they were filming the screen which had this footage on it.
It's like somebody pirating a movie in China.
Right, exactly. It was a copy of a copy. Now NASA was recording high quality raw telemetry video. I don't even know what that means, but it sounds like they had it on lockdown. They were
actually recording it for reals.
Archiving it. Of course.
Yeah. Now as you would when you do something like land on the moon.
Maybe you see where I'm going with this, but flash forward to the late 90s, early 2000s, they find this archive reel in Australia, and they think these are the pristine originals of the feed, but they can't play them there. They got to send them back to the US to be played on the special device, and then they realize, this isn't it. And then they realize, we don't know if we have the actual original footage of the moon landing. Mm-hmm. And then they spend the next few years trying to find the actual footage of this historic event, and they never find it. In the 80s, here's what they concluded. In the 80s, NASA procedures mandated the reuse of old recording media to save money.
Oh, I see where this is going.
They taped over the moon landing raw files, guys. Can you imagine the moment they realized that? The sinking feeling of that mistake?
Did the guy who actually did it, did he ever realize it? Or was he gone by that point?
They didn't pinpoint anyone. They couldn't pinpoint the tapes. They don't even know what's over it. But it reminds me of my father-in-law, who every day tapes The Young and the Restless soap opera on the same VHS tape for the past 20 years, and I am not lying or exaggerating.
He still does this.
He still does it.
Does he do super long play?
Super long play, and it
6 hours?
It totally degrades the quality. So we don't have that moment in time now. So that's a huge mistake.
This really just feeds the whole conspiracy theory, though. I mean, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but we don't have the originals. It was taped over. Oh, come on, give me a break. It never happened. It was in Arizona, and we all know that.
Here's what feeds it even more. They did take the TV footage that we all know and love, and they remastered that at a Hollywood remastering place here in Burbank. So it was done by like Hollywood people to like bring the grain out of it and everything. So that kind of perpetuated
the grain out.
Your little stance.
Okay.
Put your videos on Laserdisc.
How about
Ain't nobody gonna tape over that.
In 1962, two bands auditioned for Decca Records. The Silver Beatles and Brian Poole and the Tremolos.
Brian Poole and the Tremolos?
Yeah, they were known for the
Not really.
That's a tremolo. That's the sound of a tremolo.
Hold on, were these the guys who posed on one-legged air chairs on their album cover?
Yeah, one of them had a rope around his neck and they were all pulling it. Yes.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
you're familiar with them.
You showed me that
right
earlier
here.
today.
They're all wearing brown suits. Anyway,
Don't know them.
They both auditioned, and Dick Rowe, the executive who was listening to the demo tapes, ended up going with the Tremolos because they were in London. They were based in London.
Oh, Dick Rowe, love and the Tremolos.
We did. And because the Silver Beatles were based in Liverpool. Silver Beatles, Liverpool? Yes, you're right. He rejected the Beatles. They ended up signing
love that tremolo.
They ended up signing with EMI, ended up taking Silver off of their name, just becoming the Beatles, and selling $600 million worth of albums, which is probably more than the Tremolos sold, even though they had a great album cover and the rope thing happening.
I actually got goosebumps from how bad of a mistake that was.
Really?
Like
you didn't make it?
I got chills from that mistake.
Okay.
And I'm not even lying.
Well, the lesson learned here is if you ever have two bands audition on the same day, one of them is called the Silver Beatles and the other is called Brian Poole and the Tremolos, pick the Silver Beatles.
Silver Beatles for 500, Pat. What's his name?
Wow.
Paul.
You got Jeopardy
Ringo.
and Wheel of Fortune mixed up.
Don't you feel better about the decisions you're making in life?
Right.
Thank us in the comments and for liking.
You know what time it is.
Hi, I'm Lindsay from Russellville, Kentucky, and it's time to spin the Wheel of Mythicality.
The Streamy Awards are happening again this year, and we would really appreciate it if you would help to nominate Good Mythical Morning, the show, as well as Rhett and Link, the people, for some awards. The links are in the description.
2 links in the one description, us and the show. Vote. Click through the Good Mythical More. I came close to having a fist fight with a guy, and I have to tell you about it, seriously.
Link is jealous of Rhett's clothes.
So, you think you're gonna come in here and wear that shirt, huh?
Yeah, look at this.
It's a great shirt. I love how
look at that.
The pockets. Where'd you get it, man?
Look at this.
Didn't I? Oh man, that's so great. I wish my shirt would do that. And I think I saw that shirt on Jurassic World, the movie.
Yeah, you did.
Man, I wish I could get one of those Jurassic World shirts, like the nerd guy.
Jake Johnson.
Man.
That's right. You didn't see him do this, though.
No, you didn't. His was unbuttoned all the way, but it had a T-shirt underneath.
I don't have that T-shirt.
Man, I wish I could get that T-shirt. I hate you right now. I mean, he was bigger than me.
It wouldn't take a whole lot.
But he wasn't like bodybuilder. I wasn't intimidated by the guy. I mean, Christy and the door were in between me and him.